Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Thomas. Today we're back here with Film Theory, and today, yeah, we are going to Gravity Falls. Though this one's actually called "Why Do We Still Care About Gravity Falls?" I mean, I guess this just speaks to the theorists and everyone. I guess because there's always mysteries to look into. I don't know. It's been a while since I watched it, but I think you can guess. Let's see where Lee thinks of the reason. Let's see Lee's reason. Be sure to like, subscribe for more. Hope you enjoy. Let's check it out.
Why is Gravity Falls still so popular? Why do we all still care about a show that ran for only 2 seasons over a decade ago? Was it the writing, the storytelling, the characters, all of the above? Or is it what Gravity Falls teaches us about ourselves and the dangerous world around us? Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's searching for cryptids in the woods. Look, is that the subscribe button? Quick, click it before it gets away! Nice. So, at this point, we here at Film Theory are no stranger to Gravity Falls and its surrounding media. If you don't know, Gravity Falls is a series created by Alex Hirsch about the twins, Dipper and Mabel Pines, spending the summer with their grunkle Stan in the sleepy town of Gravity Falls, Oregon. But, of course, there's magic and monsters and trans-dimensional beings in these woods, leading the family on adventure after adventure. We've done a lot of theories about the series, and really dug deep into it last year when The Book of Bill, a novel written in-universe by the series' big bad, Bill Cipher, was released. What followed was a massive ARG that the entire Gravity Falls community came together to try and solve. But, of course, there's more happening with the book that may give us more clues and puzzles to solve. Yeah, believe it or not, but there's another edition of The Book of Bill about to hit store shelves as I write this. The limited collector's edition. You can tell this one's different because it's green.
Green.
No, but for real, this one is glow in the dark. It's gonna come with a bunch of posters and stickers and stuff like that, and is described as having, quote, more horrible secrets. So, of course, you know that myself and all of our writers all pre-ordered a copy. This will be the 3rd copy of the Book of Bill I own, which kind of makes it like the journals, huh? I legitimately have to wonder if that was intentional. Anyway, you best believe that we're gonna be digging into this as soon as it arrives to see if there's any new secrets or threads to pull in our theorizing. I'll actually probably be doing like a bit of a first impressions thing over on my Instagram if you want to see that, at Forest First, by the way. But if you want to get in the trenches with a ton of other fans to try to solve this stuff first, please go check out the Gravity Falls subreddit and Discord communities and join in on that fun. There are awesome people over there. Anyway, as I've been waiting for my copy to get here, I've been thinking a lot about Gravity Falls, and it's kind of amazing that a series that ran for 2 seasons
2014.
over a decade ago
10 years
has
ago.
this much of a stranglehold on the wider theorizing community. And naturally, that got me wondering why. What has Gravity Falls done that's kept it at the top of mind for so many people? Why is this show still popular? Why do you still care about Gravity Falls? So today, while I patiently wait for my copy of the limited collector's edition and a blacklight to arrive, I wanted to do something a little bit different. I want to start a discussion and really break down why Gravity Falls has had the incredible staying power it's had over the years. And I mean, there are lots of reasons why it's stuck with us, but honestly, it might be even more popular the further and further we get away from it, because it's one of the only shows out there actually equipping its audience for the future. So grab your journals, loyal theorists, as we jump through the interdimensional portal to find out, why do you still care about Gravity Falls? Part 1.
Well, it is an interesting show. I mean, I guess it just doesn't treat you dumb. I mean, you're still with the kids, so I don't know. I mean, again, it's been a while, so I don't remember exactly how, but let's keep going.
How it's made. Believe it or not, to understand why Gravity Falls hit so hard, we have to start our story all the way back in 2007, almost 20 years ago. Oh god. This was when Alex Hirsch graduated from the prestigious Cal Arts College and got his first job as a writer and storyboard artist on the Cartoon Network show The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack. If you don't know, this was a surreal cartoon about a sailor, a talking whale, and a pirate. We should really do a theory about this one someday, shouldn't we? Anyway, though Flapjack itself was short-lived, short-lived, the influence this show had was massive. Like, seriously, along with Gravity Falls, the creators of Adventure Time, Regular Show, and Over the Garden Wall all worked on Flapjack, and this crew was given a surprising amount of freedom by Cartoon Network. In fact, Cartoon Network was described as a Wild West during this period, allowing the shows being made here to get pretty crazy and work as fun factories for both their creators and audiences. And you know what? That worked, like, super well. While Disney was dominating the youth market during this period, especially with younger girls, Cartoon Network leaned hard into programming for boys, preteens, and young adults. Not all of it worked, looking at you live-action shows on Cartoon Network, but this let cartoonists spread their wings and tell edgier stories with more emotional depth. Case in point, the aforementioned Adventure Time, which was undoubtedly the biggest cartoon on the air because it combined its jokes with long-running storylines, horror imagery, emotional gut punches, and inappropriate innuendo. Disney saw this and they wanted a piece of the pie. It's a big reason why they also bought Marvel and Star Wars, but they wanted to try their hand at some original stories too. As the story goes, Disney actually reached out to creators like Hirsch for pitches, wanting to add them to their roster of talent. At the time, Hirsch wasn't super interested in creating children's content, so he gave them a very mature idea, adding details that excited him, but would be pushing the mouse's boundaries, fully expecting them to turn him down, but they didn't. Like, no matter how weird this pitch got, Disney was still on board. Oh, the grand uncle character is going to be morally bankrupt? There's weird mysteries that are going to take years to solve? The main villain is a two-dimensional pyramid man? Doesn't matter. We love it. And that was the best decision Disney could have possibly made. See, this show wasn't Alex Hirsch's.
Though, I wonder if they actually just saw it, like, you know, Adventure Time, looked into, this guy. Hey, why not? You ought to be good. Okay, what you got, kid? I love it. No matter what you say, let's do it. We know you're gonna make it rock. I don't know. I mean, that's how I think. That's what was going through the Disney exec's head. I mean, I can't tell, but it's my best guess. Anyway.
His attempt at making a Disney cartoon, it was Disney's pass at making an Alex Hirsch show. And that's the first reason why it's still so popular. At its core, it was something its creator wanted to make. And believe me, that style of show is popular worldwide. Like, we're getting to the point where you could travel the world and find Gravity Falls fans no matter where you end up. Though doing all of that travel would quickly bankrupt you, plus all the logistics of making it happen. Jeez, it's giving me a headache just thinking about it. But thankfully, Klook, the partner for today's theory, can make that all go away. So, true story, but Matt and Steph just took a trip to Japan over the summer and had nothing but cool stories about it when they got back. And actually, Food Theory's very own Santi went on his honeymoon to Japan like a week after I met him. So I've been hearing about all these cool things and awesome stuff you can do there. I mean, I've always wanted to travel to Japan. Just look at me. I watched anime in high school and played JRPGs. I'm the exact type of person who would want to go. So I want to finally
Same, and I'm still playing the JRPGs.
But actually figuring out the travel is incredibly stressful. I'm not Bill Cipher. I can't just snap my fingers and teleport dimension. But thankfully, that's where Klook comes in clutch. I just downloaded their app, and all of a sudden, everything got way easier. Basically, all expenses were under one roof here. Like, do I need to book a hotel? I'm covered. Need an eSIM card so your phone works? Done. Want to know all the cool stuff you can experience? Well, it's all right here, and you can even book it all in the app itself. I'm actually particularly excited about the idea of going to Tokyo Disneyland and Universal Studios Japan. I don't think there's anything Gravity Falls in the parks, but Super Nintendo World is right up my alley, man. Oh, and please, if you have any other recommendations for stuff I should check out in Japan, like, leave them in the comments, man. I will be looking at that. But Klook offers so much more beyond just Japan, too. They have thousands of destinations across the world, including in Korea, Europe, and the United States. They also have support for over a dozen languages and 40 currencies, so yours is likely covered. Plus, on top of their great prices, they often have regular discounts, promotions, and flash sales. And you can get an even better deal by signing up for Klook today using my link in the description or by scanning the QR code on screen. It'll take you to the Klook app and you can start exploring your next travel destination with just a few minutes. Oh, and make sure you use the code FilmTheory for 10% off your first purchase. It's an even better deal, man. So do yourself a favor and make travel easier for yourself using Klook. I know that I certainly will. Thanks again to Kluke for sponsoring this theory, but now let's travel back to the sleepy town of Gravity Falls. Part 2. Good lordy, the writing. Because Gravity Falls was very much a Hirsch first production, a lot of elements from the show are based on his own personal experiences. For example, Dipper, Mabel, and Grunkle Stan are all based on his family. Dipper is kind of a self-insert, Mabel is a loving homage to his twin sister, and Stan is his grandfather. The town of Gravity Falls itself was born from Hirsch's time growing up in the Pacific Northwest, my favorite part of the country, by the way, with even specific locations like the tourist trap mystery spot being recreated as the Mystery Shack. But this isn't just an author making fan fiction about his own life. No, inserting these themes is key to why Gravity Falls connects to its viewers. See, Dipper and Mabel and their story all feel so special because they take us all back to an important time in our lives, when we were growing up under the same roof as our siblings and family. Now, some of us are lucky enough to live near families and to still be in contact, but others, not so. We've either moved away, invested in hobbies, gotten jobs, or started families of our own. Our preteen and teenage years were the last times we spent every day with our OG family, and for a lot of us, we've gone from hating sharing a room with our little brother who snores to only seeing them on holidays. Well, watching Gravity Falls feels like it's picking up right where these childhood memories left off, with your crazy siblings and kooky grandpa going on whimsical adventures, because that's exactly what this show was for Hirsch. Like, this show was designed to appeal to like the most people possible, but Hirsch wanted it to be relatable to everyone and connect to people emotionally. And that's why the show takes place during the last summer of Dipper and Mabel's childhood, as they're transitioning into teenagers, starting to gain more independence while still living relatively simple lives. And on top of that, it also captures a lot of other nostalgic feelings, like going to summer camp, hanging out with your crush, and learning about yourself. Though Gravity Falls does do this in a really smart way, externalizing those feelings into actual physical things in reality. But even on a meta level, Gravity Falls lives in this weird middle ground. As I'm sure all of the Gravity Falls superfans know, the show only had 2 seasons, and while it sucks that it ended so early, that might have been a giant blessing in disguise. Like, it didn't live long enough to become corporate, for lack of a better word. See, the mouse is pretty selective about which properties it decides to really throw its weight behind. And if you don't live up to expectations, believe me, they are brutal and will cut you loose. Like, seriously, check out this theory we did last year about how they almost killed the X-Men in the comic books because they couldn't make movies about them. It's ridiculous. And though they did seek out Hirsch to make Gravity Falls, once it was on the air, they had gotten what they wanted. Especially with Marvel and Star Wars now on their roster, they had their boy and young adult-centric shows. And so, they let a lot of great series end a lot earlier than they could have. Stuff like The Owl House, Amphibia, Star vs. the Forces of Evil. You get the idea. Like to Mickey, if something isn't going to appear in their parks, which is their real moneymaker, why even bother investing beyond a couple of seasons? Remember how I said that this was more of a Disney version?
Yeah, I mean, heck, sorry. That part, sorry. I always forget that sometimes. So yeah, you can definitely see the problem here. Like, I think it's short terms, but I guess our boy Andy, he decided to play it, because he will only get like a 2nd season, so why not wrap it all up? I mean, heck, he was giving fans notice, and well, there you go. They were able to do it. Sometimes it's best to think, season by season, I guess, or at least something. I don't know. Always leave a plot thread, I guess, but what are you gonna do? I mean, heck, Owl House was able to get the 3rd season. And, well, let's just say Dana, the girl behind it, she did not love getting canceled midway. Like, yeah, that's why she's making Knights of Guinevere. I know, self-plug, I know, or the plug, I know, but you had to do it. Sorry for saying self-plug, but you get the idea. Anyway.
Of an Alex Hirsch show? Well, this is why. If Gravity Falls had kept running, if we were on like season 10 of this show, you just know it would have turned into something completely unrecognizable. But instead, we got a show that concluded on its own terms, giving its characters and plot threads satisfying endings, all while it didn't talk down to its viewers. And actually, the fact that it treated like all of its viewers the same probably contributed to the next big reason it's still with us. Part 3, putting together the puzzle pieces. Now, when you you hear good writing, you probably think of stuff like satisfying plots, great character development, funny jokes, interesting ideas executed well, and you'd be right. All of those things are great writing, and Gravity Falls has all of it in droves. But something else Gravity Falls really took advantage of was pre-existing folklore, fables, and fairy tales as the backdrop of its world. Like in Gravity Falls, magic is real, right? Not only that, but so are aliens, and ghosts, and garden gnomes, and cryptids, and all of the sort of stuff you'd normally see on some low-effort History Channel marathon. Well, I don't know about you, but I've never met anyone in my life who didn't wish at least one of those things actually existed in the real world. And like that would be true going back centuries and centuries. Now, this is great for a number of reasons. Like, first of all, most of these stories were originally told as ways to teach children life lessons in digestible ways, introducing them to the real world through the lens of fantasy. Like, think of Hansel and Gretel. The idea there is not to trust random strangers, go into their house, sneak their food because they might not have the best intentions in mind for you. That's awesome, and a great way to sort of recycle these ideas and stories into a new show like Gravity Falls, keeping all of the baggage that came with them before while also playing off of them. But Gravity Falls didn't just use these sorts of folklore and fairy tales and mysteries as its wallpaper. It was a core component of the show that was taken beyond the television screen. Yeah, instead of just being a show you could watch, Gravity Falls was designed from the ground up to have an element of audience participation with elements of an ARG layered in from its very first episode. And though it wasn't the first show that incorporated an ARG like this, it was definitely the most popular and aimed at the widest audience. So for those of us who missed the show's original run, Gravity Falls always had little hidden messages or small details that kept viewers engaged and rewarded those who were really paying attention. For example, the time traveler Blendin Blandin cameos in the background of multiple episodes before his first real appearance in episode 9, where he ends up time hopping into those previous scenes. And this, my friends, is ultimately what converted viewers of Gravity Falls into super fans of Gravity Falls. Well, yes, the story behind the show and its clever writing and the way it used folklore would get people in the door, but Gravity Falls took things further by encouraging its viewers to do more than just watch passively. It dared them to re-watch every episode, scan every frame, looking for mysteries to solve, and it even helped them develop new skills to do it. Early on, fans were drawn to the letters of gibberish that appeared during the end credits of every episode.
That's a sight for my friends.
Though at first, it didn't really seem like there was anything useful to do with them. But then, eagle-eared fans caught on to a clue: whispers at the end of the opening credits. Well, when you play this backwards, you're met with an interesting phrase. 3 letters back. Now, these days, anyone who's participated in a FNAF ARG can tell you what 3 letters back means. It's a clue that explains how to break a Caesar cipher, the encryption method where each letter of the alphabet is shifted in the same direction. So, this mess of letters from the first episode becomes Welcome to Gravity Falls. And once fallers caught on to this, they began to find clues everywhere. Soon, there were codes hinting at different ciphers appearing in upcoming episodes, and audio messages found within other episodes still. For many, this was their first encounter with this sort of interactive media and puzzle solving, and for others, it was a chance to put their problem-solving skills to the test every episode. And boy howdy, did this work. Gravity Falls got its hooks into people, looking for clues to mysteries that may or may not have even been there, trying to figure out the identity and the fate of the writer of Journal 3, or uncovering the truth behind Stan's secret passageway. Not like that, get your mind out of the gutter. And keep in mind, this was back when the internet as we know it was in its infancy. Sure, plenty of shows like Twin Peaks and Lost had people on message boards or chatting around the water cooler, but Gravity Falls was one of the first shows to put this sort of group theorizing with the ease and accessibility of a smartphone. You could literally be live chatting on the forums or live blogging on Tumblr from your couch on your phone while the show was still on, a thing a lot of us didn't get a chance to do when our access to the internet was trapped in the family computer in the living room. But more importantly, what it did was to get people to watch the show and then watch it again and again and again and again, all in search of these clues. People loved this, and I cannot begin to tell you how effective it was. And again, it became more effective when Alex and his team brought it into the real world with something even more physical, with in-person ARG elements. Between seasons, the show's crew went on the Mystery Tour 2013, renting a van to travel to weird tourist traps along the West Coast and leaving small drawings of buildings Bill cipher behind them, and if fans could find them, they'd get a silly prize. Just a month later, when the crew was noticing that fans were catching on to Stan having a twin that wrote Journal 3, they decided to have more fun, faking a leak on 4chan where they posted an image of McGucket writing the journal. While that might sound deceiving, fans took a lot of pride in getting the creators of the show to go to new lengths in order to keep the show's big twist alive, and even then, to the crew's chagrin, several fans called out the leak as fake. This dedication to creating a living experience for fans to solve outside of the show would even live on after it was finished, with the great cipher hunt that we've covered a few times here on the channel, all of which led up to the Book of Bill's release last year and the ARG that followed. Now, we did several theories covering this ARG and the community's hard work decoding all of its puzzles, but needless to say, I think its success caught everyone at Disney off guard, since the book became a New York Times bestseller, moved more than 850,000 copies, and broke the website for the ARG. And while solving all of these puzzles is super cool, do you want to know what's even cooler? The fact that all of these hidden codes and messages in Gravity Falls actually taught kids how to think for themselves. It encouraged them to use their imaginations. This show was basically like a tutorial on how to solve different types of ciphers, to think outside of the box when confronted with puzzles, and to look at people who might seem two-dimensional at first and to see them as the three-dimensional humans they actually are. And as the Gravity Falls fanbase got older, our itch to solve these puzzles remained. It shifted to channels like these, or to similar shows like Alex Hirsch's Inside Job over at Netflix, sure, but then we were reactivated by the release of Journal 3, the Blacklight Edition, the Treasure Hunt, the ARGs, the Book of Bill, and we're still hungry for it because the children don't yearn for the minds, we yearn for the mind. And that's a great thing because in this day and age, we need those skills. Part 4, it's what we need right now. I cannot stress this enough, but we're at a monumental, transitional phase in history. Gone are the days where we need to solve mysteries ourselves. Now we can just look up an Easter egg video on YouTube, check the wiki for details we missed, or ask ChatGPT if you're especially lazy. Reddit and TikTok sleuths are able to solve puzzles faster as a collective than folks used to be able to as individuals. I mean, just look at the incredible work of the Gravity Falls communities on Discord and Reddit when the Book of Bill came out, solving those super tough puzzles in like no time flat. Life used to hold great mysteries, cryptids, and places on the map that weren't filled in. Here there be dragons or the like, the Loch Ness Monster, Bigfoot, Chris Angel Mind Freak. It used to be fun not knowing whether or not something actually existed and trying to find ways to prove it, but now nothing's a mystery anymore. A magician's tricks can be broken down in TikTok videos. The likes of the Chupacabra have been explained by science and history. UFO videos are easy to debunk with technology, and even then, well, personal story, but I used to get really excited by this sort of stuff. But now, you can show me video proof that an alien spacecraft landed in your backyard that would have been undeniable 20 years ago, and now I just see the After Effects and Blender tricks you use to make it. The truth behind all of those myths has been explained. With people more connected than ever before, with a majority of the world's information collected and easily accessible, with cameras everywhere and recording everything all the time, and the knowledge of experts put out there for anyone to learn from, the magic, the myth, the mysteries, they're gone. The X-Files used to say that the truth was out there, and now the truth is literally just a Google search away. But that's changing, and I have to wonder if we're going back into a new age of whimsy, a new age of the unknown. Now with AI more widespread than ever before, maybe we're going back and having sort of a reverse Bigfoot situation. Instead of all of this technology making it impossible for anything magical to exist and not be documented, we're circling back to the other extreme, where even the most mundane thing can be fake. It can be Photoshop or AI generated and leave us questioning everything again. And that right there, my friends, is the reason that Gravity Falls will continue to be beloved. Because it was already preparing people for this without them even realizing it. Preparing people to explore and question and solve mysteries, all while being emotionally resonant with what we feel as an adult. And right now, that's more important than ever, especially with the world's attention span and media literacy lessening day by day. Just saying you're not gonna beat Bill Cipher by doom scrolling. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut! Up next on...
Yeah, honestly, there is a point where you gotta think for yourself, but also, you gotta feel bad for the people that used to love the mystery, but, well, they can just search it up themselves now. It just takes away the fun. I mean, It ain't about the destination, it's about the journey. And with Gravity Falls, you still get that journey, I guess. You know? I mean, you see it, you want to learn about it, and you learn. You know? I think that's I think that's the major issue. We don't have a chance to learn, you know? I don't know. What do you guys think? Why do you still like Gravity Falls? Let me know in the comments. Till next time, adios.